Okay, sorry for the technical difficulties, everyone, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Gym Challenge Mid-Season Showdown here for VGC 2024. My name is Jesus Coronel, alongside me, Dennis Geisler. We're trying to get you guys up to speed because we're already falling behind a little bit. We got Grant Weldon, yesterday's runner-up from the Premier Challenge with Tornadus Incarnate, Ogrepon Wellspring, Fluttermane, Urshifu Single Strike for Regraph and Heatran. And on the other side is Pokemon commentator Len Deuel playing again with Tyranitar, Garchomp, Iron Bundle, Corviknight, Lycanroc, Lycanroc Mid, I forgot more names, Midday.
Midday, yeah.
Yeah, Midday, and Golango.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Len's team. You don't see a whole lot of sand in the current metagame. Certainly a lot of value to it. Tyranitar with that sand stream, Garchomp with Sand Veil can absolutely create some win conditions out of nothing. That's an Earthquake, Dragon Claw, Substitute, Protect with leftovers Garchomp, so it can be very defensive, and it's Terra Steel, which can boost its defensive profile even more. It's going to be an interesting point. And
yeah, we have Grant's balanced team, obviously, with that Tailwind, and we saw how well it did yesterday. We only lost to Geo ultimately in the end, and I have to think Sand's in a better spot right now, but maybe this is like a for-fun journey for him. This isn't like fully updated with all the new Pokemon additions from the end of this, which, well, let's just say we're just all gonna have fun here. And speaking of fun, we have Sand in play. We have Tyranitar, Lycanroc, and Grant with the Booster Energy. Fluttermane is going to be activating alongside with that Tornadus Incarnate. The Booster Energy going to be hyping up that special attack stat, but so far Lycanroc seems to be the fastest thing in play before Tailwind.
Yeah, and I think the big thing, this is an extremely high speed matchup here, because yeah, that Lycanroc does have the Sand Rush, we'll be able to speed it up quite a bit. Also, interesting set, it's got the Focus Sash and the Endeavor, which will be crazy damage if it gets down to Focus Sash, but Tornadus with the Prankster Tailwind should be able to make Fluttermane pretty much the fastest thing in play, I'd imagine. It
will be, and I guess depending on how bulky these Pokemon are, because Tyranitar is holding an Assault Vest, but it is weak to that Fairy type, so even though it is going to be like, I believe it's a multiplier to a 3-time special defense boost with the Assault Vest and the Sand boost before Terra, because we know Terra is going to get out of that situation, which means it probably will be able to take the Dazzling Gleam pretty okay, but because it's super effective, it's not going to be doing so much damage. We're going to see the Dazzling come out here. Yeah, it is doing a decent amount of damage. Lycanroc actually takes it a lot better.
Wow, that was a critical hit.
Yeah, that's a critical hit on Tyranitar, so maybe it could have taken it even better. Rock Slide approximately half damage to both Pokemon and Grant. Tyranitar's though misses the Fluttermane. That was detrimental, even though Tornadus goes down after setting up the Tailwind.
Yeah, pretty solid first turn for Len, I'd say. And I wonder, this is the sort of situation where you wonder how much experience does Grant have against a team like this? As good of a player as you can be, you can still be caught off guard by a weird team you just haven't seen before.
Well, thankfully for Grant, Heatran is immune to the sand because it's a steel type. You have any ground moves on that thing? Oh no, it has close combat, so that is a point of emphasis to worry about here. And going back to the whole not used to the sand thing, I'm not sure if Grant's used to Lycanroc because, well, we know Excadrill's in the format now, and well, both of them have different niches, even though they're all out attackers, because well, obviously you have Lycanroc with close combat, you have Excadrill with those Iron Heads and high horsepower, so you got differentiators in that. And we're going to see a terrestrialization from Grant with that Fairy Terra, wanting to get a knockout on that Lycanroc ASAP.
Yeah, exactly, and I think it should be able to get there.
Not with the Protect, obviously.
That's definitely good, and this Lycanroc is deceptively bulky, and it does also get that special attack boost.
Now we get to see the true damage output from this Fluttermane against this Tyranitar without the critical hit and the Assault Vest Sand boost, even though it is dark, and that is a lot better damage output that he's taking here. Heat Wave going to come out now. This should do almost nothing to the Tyranitar, and it does land, thankfully. It does have that 10% chance to burn. Life Orb goes off, no burn, thankfully. Rock Slide does double connect, and down goes the Fluttermane, and
no?
Well, it will go down to Sandstorm.
Oh, it will go down to Sandstorm, that's
true.
Yeah,
that is definitely a bulky Fluttermane, or maybe a not so invested Tyranitar in that attack stat.
I think that's probably more likely. That's not a super offensive Tyranitar, but still able to output some damage and get some real threat down. And remember, Len hasn't lost any Pokemon yet, and is decently stalling out the Tailwind. The Sandstorm is also going to be stalled out to the same degree, but Len's in a very good spot in this game, number one. Ogrepon is a threat for sure. It has some options against the Rock-type Pokemon here in front of it.
Although Endeavor is an option against that Ogrepon.
It certainly is, although I think Lycanroc will drop before it's able to Endeavor.
I mean, will it? I mean, I think it's faster than Ogerpon with the Sand Rush.
It'll be close.
Because both sides do.
Sure.
Oh no,
yeah.
I go to was off first, and that is Lycanroc going down because Ogerpon was apparently faster than this Lycanroc.
And
one was that critical. I don't think we needed that critical hit, but you know, Ogerpon is just Ogerpon's just mad.
Ogerpon is just mad.
And Heat Train will potentially finish off this Tyranitar if it weren't for those boosts, and it will from that range. Now, I believe Tailwind runs out either this turn or the next turn, and Len has a big advantage seeing that Heat Train's taking some damage earlier, Ogerpon's taking some chip damage with that Sandstorm. Terra is no longer available for Grant. Tailwind still has a turn, but, you know, maybe everything's just looking favorable for Len. Corviknight comes out, so you gotta worry about that. Maybe you have to proc a Terra on it, and Garchomp's also gonna come out, so maybe the Terra likely comes down to the Corviknight to avoid that Heat Wave super effective damage.
Yeah, and this is the last turn of both Sand and Tailwind. It's not a bad idea, I feel like.
I think there's one more. I think there's 2 more turns of Sandstorm because Tailwind's 4 turns and Sandstorm's 5, meaning Garchomp's still gonna have that Sand Veil up.
Yeah, that's certainly true. I think you do want to try to stall that out as much as possible.
Ivy Culture goes out into this Corviknight. It's going to do some decent amount of damage. Yeah, probably around a mid-ranger. Heat Wave does double good on both Pokemon. I don't agree with the fact that Corviknight didn't go for a Terrestrialization. What do I know?
Yeah,
it's Garchomp versus the world now. I think it's the Earthquake coming out, but it won't knock out the Ogerpon, funny enough. Oh, it's Substitute, actually, so
yeah.
I don't know about that one. I mean, you got to turn to dodge a Ivy Cudgel at the very least, but looking at this Garchomp, you do have Earthquake. I don't think that's knocking out the Ogerpon in time, where you can knock out Heatran. How do you deal with his Ogerpon?
Yeah, Tailwind down now. There is that one more turn of Sandstorm. Yeah, well, I think it's an easy turn for Grant to just double protect and get out of the turn. Not that it'll mean anything. It'll mean that Garchomp gets a little more leftovers healing, but I don't think that matters too much in the long term.
Yeah, we're going to see Spiky Shield and Protect come out from Grant. Len's going to lose his Sanity. He's going to lose his Sand Veil, which actually would have proven very annoying. Oh, Garchomp protects him.
Everybody protects.
Yeah, but this unfortunately means that Heatran's Protect's going to fail, meaning it could go for a Protect the second time should it choose to, but will it?
Yeah, and that's a much more dangerous spot for Len to be in, because if Heatran is able to protect, the big thing that's stopping, because I think Len's late game win condition is Terra Steel Garchomp.
In which case he needs to get rid of the Heatran.
But you need to get rid of Heatran first, which means you need to get rid of Heatran this turn, which means that Heatran can't be protecting. And I think if Heatran is able to protect this turn, then it's going to be able to get out of this.
There's no Protect coming out. It is going to Horn Leash come out into the Substitute of Garchomp. It should be able to break it, in all honesty. It will be able to. Now, Garchomp does have a chance to retaliate with that Earthquake because unfortunately, Heatran did not opt to go for to protect this turn. If it's Earthquake coming out, no, it's going to be the Dragon Claw into this Ogerpon, and it's not even doing half damage. Earth Power comes out from this Heatran. Not enough to take the knockout on the Garchomp, but Ogerpon should easily clean this up.
Yeah, and that was a nice call out from Grant, realizing that the Protect was an obvious answer from him, and that the Garchomp Dragon Claw was potentially, I don't even know if you can call it an out for Len, even if the even with a critical hit.
Yeah.
In any case, well played by Grant around the win conditions there, and certainly making the end game work despite the dicey early game against that Tyranitar Lycanroc.
Yeah, Len was actually proving the power that Lycanroc still provides over Excadrill, you know. Maybe, I forget if Lycanroc's faster than Excadrill, but if it is
by just a touch.
Yeah, in that case, you have better move pool with Close Combat Endeavors, other options, whereas Excadrill's mostly less as an all-out attacker. Ground coverage is nice for it, and then unfortunately, we're towards the end, you know, maybe you ask about the Corviknight not going for a Terrestrialization because he probably would have been able to save itself, but then again, I now realize it's Terra Fire after checking the Jeep seats. So that probably was good coverage from Grant to check it with the Ivy Cudgel.
Yeah, exactly. It was definitely going to get hit pretty hard by one of those two moves. It was kind of trapped there. I think a big thing is that Len didn't really have an answer to Tailwind early on. Len really wanted to
because
have
the Flutter Mane was obviously the reason for it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Len really wanted to have that speed advantage. That's why you bring the Sand and the Sand Rush Pokemon. But when you kind of lose that advantage, I feel like it's tough losing that kind of advantage if you are Len. And so Grant probably wants to keep that Tailwind advantage. That's probably a pretty important part of the strategy. And Len, I don't know if you have any way to prevent it. I don't know.
No, you don't have any way to prevent it, but you only have like circumvental methods like that Sand Rush and Icy Wind from Icy Bundle, from Iron Bundle, excuse me.
Yeah, I don't know if you want to play a little more defensive, less Sand Rush oriented, because Lycanroc wasn't doing the most damage. It was reasonably bulky, but wasn't doing crazy amounts of damage.
I mean, it was able to do half the both Flutter Mane and the Tornadus.
It certainly was.
I feel like the Garchomp just got in there a bit too late, in my honest opinion.
Yeah, and I wonder if you want to go with something like a Tyranitar Garchomp.
No, we're going Garchomp Corviknight here. We're just going to the default lead where both these Pokemon can synergize with each other. Grant going to stay sorting this Flutter Mane, so at least the Corviknight does counter the Flutter Mane here with a potential... No, actually no steel moves actually. So Brave Bird, I'm not sure that knocks out. Or like, you probably would need a combination of Brave Bird and Earthquake to knock it out.
Yeah, Earthquake will do full damage to the Flutter Mane. It'll be the only target it'll be able to hit, so that's certainly good. I do think that if you're Len, you might be forced into a turn 1 Terrastal for Garchomp, just to make sure that it doesn't get like really blown up by a Fairy move.
I mean, now we're going to see Grant go for that option. Len does opt to Terrastalize. If this is Garchomp, then that was a good job for Grant. Garchomp to steal, so it probably was a good thing Grant clicked that Shadow Ball.
Yeah, that was definitely a nice read there. It still won't do too much damage. It's not super effective.
I mean, it will at least resist the Bleak Wind Storm now if it opts for it. No, we're just going to see Taunt come out to prevent the Tailwind coming up from Corviknight. And Len, if Len doesn't get that Tailwind up, I think he might be in trouble in the speed control. Last damage damage this booster energy speed.
Ooh.
I mean, booster energy special attack Flutter Mane does, and that's a big critical hit to that Garchomp. Earthquake will land. I don't think this knocks out Flutter Mane.
I don't think it does, but that was a huge crit there.
And no, it is just going to be a double of this Flutter Mane, so it is gone, but the Terrastalization might feel gone from this point because of the fact you took a critical hit from that Shadow Ball.
I think that's possible. There is the leftovers on that Garchomp. It will slowly heal. It has Protect. I don't know how much it'll be able to take even despite all of that, but still a nice call by Len overall to be able to make that play. Obviously, it is unfortunate that you get hit by the critical hit on the Shadow Ball there, because things would have been in a much better spot.
Yeah, and now comes in Heat Transfer Grant. This is going to be super effective to both the Steel types right now with that Heat Wave. Len quickly realizes the situation and assesses it and opts now to go for the Sand with the Tyranitar.
I think I like that switch. The Corviknight was in a bad spot matching up against this Heatran.
Protect coming out for Heatran at low health, even with Sandveil. You don't want to rely on a miss from the Sandveil boost. Heatran also protecting. So I think this likely signals a Tailwind coming out from this Tornadus here,
I think
and
it is just a Tailwind turn.
Yeah.
Not often that the final thing you see in a turn is a Prankster Tailwind.
Yeah, and now comes the Sandstorm chip damage towards only the Tornadus.
Yeah.
Sandveil's up on his Garchomp. It is slowly recovering HP, but the thing is, I don't know you really want to rely on that Sandveil to dodge enough attacks from this Heatran, because Heat Wave, known to be inaccurate, but how inaccurate is it with the Sandveil boost?
I mean, it's an out. It is certainly an out, although I think that Grant has an answer for it. Well, I know that Grant has an answer for it.
Yeah, we already see the Heatran go to Translation in the grass to get out of the quad weakness to Earthquake, excuse me. Why am I twisting my own words?
Yeah, still gets hit pretty hard by knockoff, if that's what Tyranitar goes for against it, although Tyranitar still gotta get rid of this Thundurus eventually.
Oh, no more Sands! There goes the Sunny Day!
Yeah, and that's the big thing, is that one of the great parts about Tornadus...
It is so big! To miss the Tyranitar! Unfortunately, did not miss the Garchomp, although I think Glenn would have loved to see that out of the Sandveil. At least the Tyranitar takes no damage this turn, but your Sand's gone because of the Sunny Day. Yeah,
that's one of the best parts about Tornadus, is that you're able to get that priority weather, and so if there is a type of weather that you really don't want to see, Low Kick ain't going to do that much against the Grass Heatran. If there's a type of weather you don't want to see, you just slap that onto your Tornadus as its weather move, and suddenly Sand doesn't do anything to you, or Rain doesn't do anything to you. Yeah, now Desire Bundle comes in here with a Speed Multiplier, and I still think it's underspeeding Tornadus in this Tailwind. It can get Icy Winds on this Heatran, but I don't know if -1 counteracts with the Tailwind enough to give you a speed advantage with that Tyranitar, judging by how slow it is. I think Bundle might actually be faster with the booster energy. Yeah, it's certainly going to be faster than the Heatran. It's definitely not going to be faster than the Tornadus, though, which means Bleak Wind Storm might be able to contest for a knockout? I'm doing the math in my head. I think it might be. The math is really hard. I'm trying to do it from the team sheets right now. It's very close though. And in any case, this Iron Bundle's in some serious threat immediately. Grant's in a very good spot altogether.
Yeah, Grant's is really good with his offensive pressure, and that just gives Len enough time to, carry out his game plan. Iron Bundle's going to protect us all, turn the tailwind. I think there was only 2 left though, so you might have to deal with another one. Turning this is going to land the Weak Wind Storm on the attempt on this Tyranitar. It does connect. It won't be doing much damage thanks to the Assault Vest now that the Sand Boost is just gone. Heat Treant does hit Heat Wave. Is this Sun boosted? It is still on the Assault Vest. It does connect. Life was going to go off. Do we get a burn at the slightest? We do.
The burn, unfortunately, you can run from it, but eventually you will get that Heat Wave burn. And
how detrimental? Yeah, very detrimental.
The Rock Slide's going to do much less damage there.
And that was a crit on the Heat Treant as well.
Crit does not go through burn reduction. I was looking at the I was looking in the damage formula yesterday. Burn is separate from any other form of reduction.
Yeah, I think Grant's now in the driver's seat. You saw us 1 Pokemon left, by the way. For those of you not paying attention, there is 1 Pokemon left on Grant's side. Len's down to his last 2 Pokemon, being Tyranitar and Iron Bundle, both of them successful with his Heat Treant at this very moment.
The Corviknight is still in the back for Len, but,
but
it's not in a great spot. It'll have to come in late, probably. I don't even know what a Tailwind will do for you at this point. It would just have to provide whatever damage it can. The Tailwind at this point is not really going to do much because this Iron Bundle's really fast.
Well, we are going to see Tornado switch at the very least.
I'm not going to find out whether Iron Bundle's faster or not. This is horrible.
Well, now we're going to see Urshifu come in here. The Urshifu single strike from Grant. Tyranitar also going to swap out the Corviknight to reset the Sand Stream for later.
I like that decision. Both sides realizing that preserving weather and Tailwind and all the arena setting is important.
Yeah, we are also going to see Heat Treant protect here for this turn. Freeze Dry was the attempt to knock out the Heat Treant because obviously turning this wasn't the problem right now with the Science type attacks being pretty much a non-issue, except for that Iron Bundle. Tailwind does go away though, so that does give Iron Bundle a chance to fire off those Icy Winds and potentially gives control to Corviknight.
Yeah, exactly. The Corviknight certainly has it can Tailwind if it wants now, and as much as Tyranitar is not going to be a super useful damage threat, it is still some damage that you can provide. I think the big thing is keeping this Iron Bundle around though for Len, because it's most of your damage at this point.
Yeah, Heat Treant doesn't want to get knocked out at the very slightest right now. Tornado
switching into something else that's still
still super effective to Ice type here, and there's Icy Wind here. Thankfully the Cobra Coat's to make sure the Tornado doesn't lose the speed, get a speed drop, but that's still a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
Brave Bird to Urshifu, that broke the Focus Sash, gave it enough speed to outspeed it, and that's enough for a knockout. So it's Tornadus Heat Treant versus 3 Pokemon for Len. I think Len does have a good shot to win this now.
Yeah, I think Len really turned things around on that turn. Just seeing the Icy Wind option, and I did not realize that through the Icy Wind, the Corviknight was going to be faster than the Urshifu. It's kind of a reasonably fast Urshifu still. I think it might be Adamant.
Well, we're not going to get that answer almost immediately, but the problem now shifts towards how does Len play this endgame, because you can't just spam Icy Wind for the rest of the game, but will this Tailwind give Heat Treant enough speed to outspeed it for the booster speed?
I really don't think it will.
It will not, unfortunately. There is the Icy Wind connecting on both Pokemon. We're going to game 3, ladies and gentlemen. Len has evened the setup.
Yeah, that was really, really nicely played towards the end there for Len, and again, that Iron Bundle is all big. That does a lot of damage. I mean, that the fact that it can like 2-shot the Tornadus as well as the probably can 2-shot the Heat Ran with Icy Wind means that neither of them really wants to take a Freeze Dry. And the fact that Iron Bundle was able to do all of that under Sun, like that's the thing. Grant was able to get Sun up, and Len was able to take advantage of kind of the passivity of letting Sun get up.
Yeah, that's just an unfortunate part because, now you have to be aware of that Iron Bundle because it's definitely an option I was talking about, Icy Wind gives your team speed control without the Tailwind, If you already partner Pokemon speed, it gives your Pokemon a chance to knock out opposing Pokemon, like that Corviknight was able to do that Urshifu before he even had a chance to go for the attack. And now if you're Grant, knowing that, well, how do you deal with this Iron Bundle? I mean, Flutter Mane's your best answer, but you lost to turn 1 previously.
Yeah, game 1 we had the what was it? Game 1, we had the...
Tornado Fluttermane, it was the same leads.
Yeah, it was the same lead for Grant, but for Len, it was Game 1, Lycanroc and Tyranitar. Game 2, it was Garchomp and Corviknight. The Garchomp and Corviknight clearly worked better, although I don't think that... There are certainly still answers. And remember, that was after Len got crit on turn number 1 against the Shadow Ball. Yeah. If that hadn't happened, that Garchomp could have stuck around much longer and been much more of a threat.
Yeah, absolutely. It didn't get hit by that Shadow Ball crit. It definitely would have been able to at least put out more damage output than it did. But Len's going back to Sand now. He's going to gain 3 with Tyranitar Lycanroc again. Tornado's Urshifu to switch up for Grants, which Urshifu looking really good with that fighting type.
Yeah, it potentially scared out the Fluttermane a little bit, and I think this means the Lycanroc should still be faster than the Urshifu instead of slower than the Fluttermane under Tailwind.
Yeah, and if you're faster, I guess the new question now is, does close combat from Lycanroc take Urshifu down to a range where the Sand can knock it out?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I think that...
Well, the Tailwind's going to circumvent that at the very least. So I think means Urshifu is faster now with this close combat. No, it is not. There's a Rock Slide coming out. Rock Slide, there's the way. There's to get a flinch on this Urshifu. Importantly, no, it does not. Close combat comes out into this Tyranitar, and down it goes turn 1 with a one-hit knockout.
Yeah, and that's certainly very good for Grant. I saw the vision from Len. I don't hate the idea of the Rock Slide to try to go for the flinch, but I honestly do think that a close combat might have been a higher upside play there to try to get rid of the Urshifu this turn and let the Tornadus sit around a little bit longer, because the Tornadus now, after this turn, the Tornadus will be able to get Sunny Day up and get rid of that Sand.
Yeah,
and that's going to
be big against that Garchomp.
Hurt Len. Yeah. Well, that's going to really hurt Len, mostly because Lycanroc now no longer has the speed advantage.
Yeah, not only that, you not only lose the speed advantage with the Sand Rush being gone, you also lose Sand Veil, which probably gives your Garchomp win conditions at the very least.
Yeah, you lose your most valuable traits on the field right now.
And now you hear Len, how do you deal with the fact that probably Sunny Day's coming out, and then this Urshifu just goes for another close combat uncontested towards potentially the Lycanroc, or maybe you even go for the Wicked Blow into this Garchomp.
Yeah, I think Wicked Blow might even be a safer choice.
And we're seeing Grant go for a Strategization into this Urshifu, and this Urshifu, fortunately, is Terra Dark, meaning its Wicked Blows and Sucker Punches will do much more damage.
Yeah.
You thought it couldn't hit any harder to hit? It could with a one punch? It's going to hit harder.
It's going to be hitting real hard.
One hit's all it needs to do as much damage as it possibly can. Sunny Day will get the Sandstorm out of the way. Wicked Blow goes into this target. It's going to be the Garchomp. And will it go down in a hit? No, it will not at least be able to survive that hit, but it tried to go for a substitute. It's out of range.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea looking at the team and saying, I think I have time for a substitute, but at the same time, you don't. Terra's there, and that's going to be really difficult to come away from. The Lycanroc is still holding its sash. That is the one benefit for Len. But
now
it doesn't
you deal with this Fluttermane.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter when both of Grant's Pokemon are going to be faster under Tailwind.
And now you gotta think about what potentially Len's Pokemon in the back, because if it's Corviknight, you might have a favorable matchup against this Fluttermane, but definitely not to the Urshifu. And
yeah,
I think this Urshifu is what's going to give Grant this victory if things go well for him to continue after this battle, because Len, the moment he lost to Tyranitar, I think this is all starting to go south.
Yeah, I mean, Urshifu at this point can just keep launching out Wicked Blows, and what do you do about it if you are Len?
I don't know if there's much you can do about it, because we saw how much faster this Urshifu was against this Garchomp.
Yeah.
With this Tailwind. I mean, we also just saw that Rock Slide's doing a fair amount of damage, so if Lycanroc is to survive the turn, it can't just get a Rock Slide knockout because of that close combat defense drop.
Yeah, exactly.
Garchomp just going to protect. He's trying to call out this Fluttermane, but if the Fluttermane doesn't even go for this attack, okay, we're just scouting the Fluttermane. That's what's going on here with this Protect. Now, yes, we know Urshifu can break the Protect, but we're just scouting the Fluttermane.
Yeah, which isn't terrible, but the Fluttermane's not locked or anything. It's not going to. It's also stalling out a little bit of the Tailwind, but Fluttermane will still be faster.
And now the Wicked Blow is going to go into the Lycanroc, going to take it down to the Focus Sash, but I unfortunately think this might be game over.
Yeah, the problem here is that even if Tailwind expires this turn, which I don't think it does, the Fluttermane is still the fastest thing on the field.
Yeah, that's just the unfortunate. Yeah, there's still certain tailwinds, meaning Dazzling Gleam still going to be able to have that one turn to knock out both these Pokemon. If this is Corviknight, I still think Urshinu's in trouble, but any other Pokemon, I think, just doesn't do it for Len. He tries to go for the double protect on his guard shot and it fails, unfortunately. He tries to go for both of them again.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that fails twice. That's a double knockout.
Yeah, I don't know what the out was for Len there. I guess stalling out the final turn of Tailwind.
Yeah, that's all you can do because you could get the knockout onto this Urshifu and potentially get a lot of damage on the Slaughter. Maybe you can make the job easier for something like that Iron Bundle.
Yeah, but even then, you're down to your last Pokemon regardless.
Tailwind is gone, but that's too little too late.
Yeah, if the Iron Bundle comes in, it will be the fastest thing.
It will be, but it's not going to be able to knock out the Flutter Mane in time.
Yeah, it certainly will not be. I don't really see an out for Len at this point.
Yeah, I mean, unless you, I mean, I know Hydro Pump's weakened by the sunlight, and you would need a freeze dry freeze if anything.
Potentially.
But even then, there's a close combat just sitting there.
I think you might have to go with like an Icy Wind here to try to.
Oh wait, Terrifying's an option. I don't think Len's Terra at this game.
I don't think Len has Terra this game, but what is going to be the value?
Terrifying. This is going to be working against this close combat, but if it's Wicked Blow, it's not going to matter.
And I think it's more likely Wicked Blow. No reason not to. It's got the double damage booster with the Terrastal. We get to see the fun Terra Flying Iron Bundle, most likely to dodge the Earthquakes from...
Okay, he needs a freeze here in his freeze try to get a chance to come back into this game. Does he even get it? No, he does not get it. Moonblast comes out. This might be it, and it's a one-hit knockout. Grant Weldon going to win this 2-1 over Deuel.
Yeah, really well played by Grant. Obviously, we know Grant, fantastic player. We've seen him in finals yesterday, but Len doing really well with a team like this against a player like Grant.
Yeah, that was just hard for Len to win, but you know, he did all he could do, and he actually made a valiant effort.
Yeah.
Give it up to a caster to bring the power into Mid-Season Showdown. He goes, you know, casters can play, and also finally, we got our face cams here. So that's going to be doing it for our round one here. Grant Weldon taking it over Deuel 2-1, and we have a little announcement to make. If you guys didn't notice at the bottom of the screen, we have a charity going on for Child's Play to hopefully give the children. Let me go ahead and look up this information just so I could be certain about what I'm saying. And okay, therapeutic games and technology directed to pediatric hospitals to improve patients' life through the power of play. And if you didn't notice, we've got a donation goal of $500. If you want to go ahead and pitch in your donations, you can go ahead and scan the link in the QR code link in the bottom of the screen, or check it out at childsplaycharity.org.